So what is global namespace? So this is the namespace for variables, functions, classes and other objects at the module level. So here we are concentrating on the module level, and here we are looking here we are saying that the namespace is for variables, functions, classes and objects in the module. That is, here we are looking at the module level, not inside the function or inside the method. Here we are looking at the module level, that is outside the function or class. So here it is in the main body of the module. Okay, the next one is local namespace. This namespace exists within the function and methods. That means that namespace, that means the variables are inside the function or inside the methods. So each function has its own local namespace. So the variables that are declared inside the function are a part of local namespace, and they are not accessible outside the function. So that is local namespace. Okay. So this is the example. So can we just look at that is x is equal to 10. So that is a global namespace. That is it is accessible to any a function, anyone. That is, it is in the module level. That is, it is at the module level. So we are defining a function, that is inside the function we have print x, and we are calling that function again. So the variable is defined outside the function, so it is global namespace. So when we look into this, y is equal to 20, which is the local namespace, because it is defined inside the function or inside the module. So Python's programs namespace. Okay. Built-in namespace. The namespace contains built-in functions and exceptions that Python provides. So there are namespaces which are built-in. That means the print, length and int. It is available everywhere in the Python regardless of the scope. That is, it can be available to any of the program. Okay, regardless of the scope that we are looking. So here we are telling about length, print and int. They are built-in functions which is accessible anywhere. And that means enclosing namespace. Here it means that we have a function, and inside that function we have another function, and inside that function we have another function. That means it is a nested function. So if a function is defined inside another function, the inner function we have access to the variables which is defined in the outer function namespace. That is enclosing namespace. An enclosing namespace in Python refers to the namespace that exists in a function or a block of code that is outside the current function but inside another function. So in Python refers to namespace that exists in a function or a block. So it's a namespace that is existing in a function or a block of code that is outside the current function. So ഇപ്പോൾ ഉള്ള ഫംഗ്ഷനെക്കാട്ടിലും ഔട്ട്സൈഡ് ഉള്ള ഫങ്ഷൻസ് ആണ്, ബട്ട് ഇൻസൈഡ് അനദർ ഫങ്ഷൻ. പക്ഷെ അത് inside വേറൊരു function. It is a part of a nested scopes in Python's LEGB, that is local enclosing global built-in for this name resolution. So here I have told you enclosing namespace is a name. They are the variables which can be accessed by the inner functions. That is, it can be accessed by the nested functions. So here in the inner function, it just look whether it have the variable. If they don't have the variable, it look outside. It will look at the outer function. So firstly it will look at the local variable. If the local variable is not present, it will look at the enclosing namespace, and if the enclosing namespace is not there, it look at the global variables and functions, and if it's not there, it will look at the built-in. Okay, so now we're going to study about the difference between the global variable and the local variable. Now we have learned about the local namespace and global namespace. Now we're going to learn about the local variable and the global variable. What is namespace? Namespace is a system that keeps track of all the variables, names and the corresponding values in a specific context. So it is the variable names and functions which has corresponding values in a specified context. Here we have learned what is namespace. This y is equal to 20 is a local namespace, likewise of a function. Now we're going to learn about what is a global variable and what is local variable. Okay, and after that we will learn about shadowing, which is a very important topic, and after that നമ്മൾ pass by object reference നോക്കാം. That is very important topic. Now moving on to global vs local variable. In Python, global and local variables are distinguished by their scope. That is, നമ്മൾ scope വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് we are defining whether it's global, whether it's local, meaning where they can be accessible and where they can be modified in the code. So where they can be accessible, that is the first, and where they can be modified. എവിടെ modify എവിടെ നമുക്ക് മാറ്റാൻ പറ്റും, and where it can be accessed. Based on these two, we define global and local variables. So how do we define a global and local variable? Because of its scope, and that is how it is accessible and how it can be modified. Now moving on to global variable. A global variable is a variable that is defined outside of all functions or classes. It is a variable which is defined outside of all functions and classes. It is accessible from anywhere in the script, including inside functions, unless shadowed by a local variable. Unless it is shadowed by a local variable, other than that, whichever function it is, it can access this global variable, unless shadowed by a local variable in the same name. With the same name, if the local variable have the same name and it shadows the global variable, it cannot use. But if there is no shadowing, we use global variable. Scope. Global variables have a global scope, means it can be accessible through entire program. And modification, you can modify global variable inside a function if you explicitly declare it as global inside a function. So we can modify the global variable inside the function by explicitly declaring it as in global inside the function. Okay, now moving on to the program. X is equal to 10, define my function, print inside function, my function, print outside function. So here we can say that inside function എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് x is equal to 10 is a global variable. So print inside function comma x, there is no local variable, so it print x is equal to 10. And then print outside is x, that also prints 10. Next നോക്കാം, def my function, print inside function x is equal to 10 is a global variable as well. Okay, this is not global variable, okay, because it's not initialized at the first. So even though it's not global variable, we have declared x as 10, so we can't, there is nothing to shadow, so we declare it as 10 itself. Outside function comma 10, that's also global variable because it's not declared inside the function. Now moving on to the next part, that is def my function x is equal to 30, print inside function x. That is not a global variable. Global variable x is equal to 10. My function, so when we declare my function, the x is equal to 30 shadows the x is equal to 10. Okay, so likewise it will produce. Okay, next is def my function global x is equal to 30, print inside function x is equal to 10. So when we declare explicitly that x is equal to 30 globally, okay, what happens is the global keywords allow you to modify a global variable inside a function. Function അകത്ത് നമുക്ക് global variable നമുക്ക് global variable മാറ്റാൻ കഴിയും. You must first declare variable as global and then assign a value. The global variable is modified both inside and outside function when you use global keyword. നമ്മൾ global keyword യൂസ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ it get modified inside as well as outside. So global variables can be accessed from any functional block unless shadowed by a local variable. Local variables are only accessible within the function where they are defined. Use a global keyword if you need to modify a global variable inside a function. ഒരു ഫംഗ്ഷൻ്റെ അകത്തിരുന്ന് നമുക്ക് ഗ്ലോബൽ വേരിയബിൾ നമുക്ക് മാറ്റണമെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ഗ്ലോബൽ വേരിയബിൾ കൊടുക്കാം. It is a good practice to limit the use of global variables to avoid unexpected behavior, especially when managing large code bases. So it allows to modify both inside and outside the function using global. So what is local variable? Local variable is defined inside the function or the block and is only accessible within the function. Okay, it is created when the function is called and destroyed when the function ends. So when the function is called, it gets created and it gets destroyed when the function ends. The scope is within that local function only. So local variable have a local scope that they are only available inside the function. And modification, you can freely modify the local variable within their scope. So we can modify the local variable within their scope. What is it? Modification again, you can modify global inside a function if you explicitly declare it as global. You can modify global variable inside a function. So inside a function we can modify the global variable by declaring it as global x. Okay, fine. Okay, here we can modify the local variables. So def my function x is equal to 10 print x. So it's a local variable, my function print x. Okay, firstly it will print as 10. Then when we declare another print syntax outside the function, that means x is equal to 10 is only available or only accessed or modified inside that function, but when it comes outside, that is printing x will be an error because x is not defined. Shadowing: if a local variable has the same name as the global variable, the local variable will shadow or override the global variable inside the function. The global variable will remain out and change outside the function. In order to change the global variable, we declare it as global. Okay, so the local variable shadows the global variable. Look at this example: x is equal to 10. So when we define a function x is equal to 20, and we print that function, and then we declare another function, and outside function comma x, that will be 10 because it's outside the function. Next we're going to study about the pass by object reference, and we have arbitrary arguments as well. Pass by object reference is a very important topic, so we need to study it. Okay.